Okay, so I've had a few questions about this Schwinn IC4, and I just thought I would do an update and show you some other things that I do or how I use it. Again, this bike is the same as the Bowflex C6. The only difference that I've seen is the mat for $100 with the Bowflex, and and this one's $7.99 without the mat, and I just bought that mat at Dick's for $34. And speaking of that, the mat or the bike is sold out for Bowflex and Schwinn with a 20 to 30 business day waiting period, but I found this at Dick's, and even though the Dick's website says that they're sold out, when I've gone to several Dick's and they've either had them on the floor or they've had them in the back if you have somebody look, so it is available. I was gonna turn this video around and introduce myself, or I guess I'll just come over here. But my name is Scott, and basically I have been cycling for many years, mountain biking for a couple decades, and cycling for about a little over a decade. But I am getting older, and I am recovering from a wrist injury. I don't know if you can see that, but I have 3 pins in my wrist right now. And I'm also older, and I like to eat too much. So basically, I like to work out to make me want to eat better. And I eat better. When I'm eating better, I want to work out. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And this is the heaviest I've been in a long time, in about 15 years. And I'd like to just get down. So this bike has been working out great for me. This bike does have, it comes with this heart rate monitor, which I have plugged in here. And the reason why I have it plugged in here is because it's meant to be plugged in on the bike and you can store it here, but I sometimes will just plug my iPad or my phone or whatever I'm using right here, you know, into the bike. So that's basically what I have. People have asked about the quality of the bike. The bike quality is very nice. It's very easy to adjust. If you want to adjust the seat, you basically just loosen this and you can slide it forward. I did work to get the seat level. It takes a little while to get used to the seat, but it is a very good seat. I think it'll be just fine with me, and I have a fiance who actually also cycles, and she will be using it when she moves in after we're married. And it has nice little adjusters to adjust it being level on the floor. I did see one model where this area here was stripped. This was at Dick's, and I think the reason why it got stripped is because if you don't know, there's actually, both of these threads are not the same. It's not righty-tighty on both of these threads. One of them is lefty-tighty. It's not lefty-loosey. And so a lot of people don't know that. And also, if you look, you can use an Allen wrench here to tighten them in. So I recommend threading them backwards or forwards, just very carefully and slowly as you put them in. This is a quality bike, but I don't think, you know, this is going to be the highest grade steel, but it still works great. These pedals are great. They're SPDs. You can adjust them as far as, you know, how tight or loose they are, but you have to do it back here through an Allen wrench right in there. And then of course there's cages if you just want to have shoes. The adjustment here works really nice. You can roll the bike out of the way really easily. The magnetic resistance is much better than all the other types. It does come with the barbells. These are 3 pounds. And then I have read many complaints where if you're standing up and you're taller and you have the handlebars move forward like I do, your knee will hit this. And my knee does hit when it's a longer water bottle, so I have this shorter water bottle. The only other thing I really find that I need is I tend to use a lot of remote controls with this setup, because I also use this ceiling fan here to blow down on me. I'm controlling the TV with the Apple TV. I haven't really been using the Zwift companion app yet. I guess I need to start doing that, which I guess will make it easier. And then that is, I'm trying to think what else you'd want to know about this bike. I don't know exactly where I'm always going to use it. I may use it in a different room. You basically plug the bike in here, and it comes on. So this is not my ideal setup, but it works just fine. This adjustment knob is butter smooth. It works great. You can raise the handlebars up and down here, or you can move them forward to back here, and all that works pretty good. It went together pretty easily in about an hour with just the tools that were provided. And I did look at the instructions 2 or 3 times just to make sure I was doing things right. And then here, what I've noticed is it doesn't always show me my heart rate. It's not going to show you anything till I pedal, but I'll show you what I do here. I take this armband here. It's a forearm strap, and you press it right there. It turns on. It's going fast now, and once it's on your arm, it has your let's see, I'm gonna put it on my arm, and once it captures my heart rate, it will go slower. Excuse the video, sorry about that. See, you can see now it's going slower. I did make the mistake, there was a tiny little piece of film underneath that, and I didn't have that peeled off the first time I used it. So now that I have that off, it works great. So what I'm gonna do today is kind of my typical setup. I will turn on the TV. I'll get Zwift going. I basically just press the Apple TV remote. Zwift is on there. And I will start the fan just to blow down on me.
To do this because he was concerned about corruption.
Okay.
And that
well, we don't need to hear about politics. This is not a video about politics. This is a video about cycling. And we're gonna hit Zwift there. And you can change user, it's pretty easy. But what I'm actually gonna show you today is something a little different. I'm actually probably gonna just do a Peloton ride here. And I did start the 12-day trial.
What's up, and welcome to the party.
Let me pause this.
This is a 30-minute pick-me-up ride.
Okay, let's pause Hannah for a minute. So I have noticed that when I AirPlay to the Apple TV, even if I have these Peloton rides downloaded, that they will sometimes buffer through the AirPlay on the Apple TV. And I have a really high-tech router set up. I have a mesh router, Orbi, and there's generally no lag even watching 4K on my TV. So I don't know what's causing the buffering. I wish there was an app for Peloton right on the Apple TV, but there is not. Zwift does have it, and I don't know if it's in 4K, but the quality of the gaming looks nice, and I can tell that the Peloton app doesn't necessarily translate when you're airplaying it into 4K or even in the higher definition. So it's just going to be high definition. It works fine for about 10-15 minutes, and then it starts to buffer even when I have it downloaded. So I'm not sure why that is. And then sometimes I will play it through the TV so I can get my surround sound if no one's home. But in this case, I'm just going to AirPlay it to my speakers today, and do it that way. So I know I'm shaking around a little bit with this video setup, but I'm not a regular YouTuber, so I'm just kind of using my phone. So I am gonna, the reason why I'm doing it this way is Peloton does not record all your ride data. You can send it to Strava, but it doesn't look the same to me. And I think you have to have the regular app in the bike to send it to Strava. And so you can share it, but it's not sharing your data on this app. So what I'm gonna do is just record all my data on Zwift. And if I get bored of the Peloton, I'll just continue with my Zwift ride. But the Zwift will send it to Garmin, Strava, Ride Yours, Map My Ride, and you know, any others. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let's start here. Actually, I'm not even gonna put on the headphones now. I'll just do this so you can, I'm clipping in here. I got my cycling shoes on, and I do need to get some kind of tray and towel set up. I have not done that yet. I've been cycling indoors for many years on many different machines, and this is one of my favorites. I used to have a Garmin on my, I had an indoor trainer with my Cannondale bike and other bikes. Usually my older model bike would end up on the trainer. And, you know, it just never was a complete package. It was always setting up, and it just wasn't as fun without all these options. So you can see here, now that I'm going, you know, the Peloton's recording, and sometimes it shows your pulse here. I haven't figured that out. I can hit Bluetooth and it'll beep, but I still don't think it shows my pulse. So up here on Zwift, if I select my name, you can see, okay, I'm Scott Zenda. So now you can see my heart rate. There is one thing that I will check. The heart rate monitor goes to the bike, but it also shows separately. The heart rate monitor is that HW, and then there's the bike. And occasionally I have lost the heart rate monitor signal, and I've switched over to it directly, and that worked better. So I don't know if it's better to go through the bike or what. I'm gonna try. Okay, so I'm connected to the bike, and it's showing that I have 88 beats per minute. I'll just hit let's go. And I don't really care what ride it has me do. It's gonna surprise me. Ride type training, so I'm just gonna hit ride, and it's gonna go. And then now I can come over here, come to Peloton, and we can hit
I do this ride once
Hannah,
a month, and it's one of my favorites,
and she can
because
tell
this
us what
ride
to
is
do.
meant to pick
So,
you up and elevate your mood, because it's never
I'm gonna
too
pause
late to
her.
get better. I hope to show you that when
So I just kind of wanted to show you how I do this. You know, different things motivate different people, but in general, riding indoors for me is much harder. It takes a lot more effort and energy. And so having these different options to motivate me are nice. And then I will show you one last thing actually before I get going here. I'm just gonna, let's see here. Here, I'm gonna go to the home page. So you have Studio Sweat, you have Ruvi, Full Gas. These are other apps I haven't even opened up yet, but I believe that I know Full Gas and that Ruvi or Rauvi, both of those connect to this bike as well. And oh, I did not show you on the Peloton app, you can connect here to this bike. Right there, you can connect to heart rate and cadence, but the bike's already connected to something else, so it's not gonna connect or show there. But when I'm not connected to Zwift, it does show there. So if you wanna do that on the Peloton app, it does work. You just don't wanna be connected to something else like Zwift. And so I like that the Apple TV has Bluetooth and allows me to connect right to Zwift. It works easier than trying to AirPlay Zwift over. And but I have learned several new gestures on this remote control that I was unaware of, but it does work like an Apple TV. You can double click here and swipe over, and you can bring your Zwift back. So there we go. And I'm gonna start riding, and I hope this video is helpful. I think these bikes are a great value. I'm not trying to sell them. I don't have any commission. I just think they're a really decent bike for the money and a pretty complete package. All right, have a nice night.